Okay. And when it comes to fraud risk assessment, we've got some guides put out by the Global Technology Audit Guides with common computer-related frauds, altering records, misusing, stealing, misappropriating assets, stealing or using the information, the computer-readable information, the data, if you will, destroying or copying software or data, and stealing, misusing, or misappropriating the hardware itself. A company spends some time assessing their risk of fraud. And to do that, you have to figure out, well, what could happen if this fraud occurred? What would the damage be? And that's what we call the exposure. What's the possibility of loss from that fraud? So once we have figured out what the risks are, what the exposures are, then we can go into kind of our normal business analysis, do a cost benefit, figure out how to tackle it from a risk management standpoint. And here are some of the basic steps. Well, what are the areas where risk can creep in? Where am I exposed? And then what is that exposure? How much could I possibly lose? What kind of controls would make sense here? And at this point, you can do a gap analysis to review existing controls, see where you fall short, and where you might want to address some of those gaps. And then you can take a look at the existing or remaining gaps and do a likelihood analysis. How likely is this to happen? If so, what's the exposure? Thus, what is my expected loss any given year?